Christmas time coming up. You cannot have Christmas without the Muppets. This is a Muppet Family Christmas. A Muppet Family Christmas. This is made in 1987. It was made for television. Last year I did Muppet Christmas Carol, as well as It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie, both of which I enjoyed. I also very much enjoyed A Muppet Family Christmas this year. Now, I hadn't seen this since, I guess it was on television, 1987. And 1987 I was a teenager, but I still watched the Muppets. I think by that time we'd had 3 big screen Muppet movies already. Muppet Movie, Great Muppet Caper, Muppets Take Manhattan. Of course, we had Fraggle Rock on TV. We had Sesame Street, as well as Muppet Babies. There was a cartoon. So what a Muppet Family Christmas does is it brings all the characters and all the Muppets and all the puppets and all those guys from all those shows and puts them all in one Christmas special. Like you get Ernie and Bert, you get Big Bird, you get the Cookie Monster, of course you get Gonzo and Fozzie, you get the Swedish Chef, you get Kermit the Frog, you get the Fraggles, even Human Guy, Doc and his dog. You know, you get a little bit of footage of like Muppet Babies in there as well. Not animated, but, you know, like the puppet version, Muppet Babies. So it brings all those characters together, and basically it's like Muppets Endgame. I mean, they don't fight anybody. There's a little bit of infighting, maybe, but it just brings them all together for this special. It's a musical, of course, and it features tons of Christmas songs. Now, I would tell you the plot of this, but there really isn't one. There's a situation. And the situation is this. All the Muppets decide to go to Fozzie's mom's house. Fozzie Bear, you know, of course, key member of the Muppets. His mom, whose name is Emily Bear. She lives in a big old farmhouse out in the country. She was actually planning on going to California for the holidays and renting the place out to Doc from Fraggle Rock and his dog, Sprocket. Doc and his dog just wanted to rent this place and spend a nice, quiet Christmas in the country. I guess it's kind of a surprise, but Fozzie and all the Muppets, at least from the Muppet Show, they all drive up in a truck full of Muppets. They're unloading Muppets for a good 5 minutes as they introduce everybody, and hey, here's Gonzo, here's Fozzie, here's Kermit. Of course, you remember Kermit, Mom, and blah blah blah. And so she's like, oh, I guess I gotta cancel my California vacation. Yeah, you get of course you get all the Muppets. Some of them don't really do very much though. For instance, I don't remember Scooter even getting a line in the movie. I'm probably wrong about that, but I don't remember it. Miss Piggy is not there. She's actually delayed because of a photo shoot or something like that. She's a big Hollywood star, of course. And so she calls Kermit and she says, oh, I'm going to be a little bit late. I'm running behind here, but I'm on my way. And then her limo or something gets stuck in the snow and she's trapped in the storm, or they think she's going to get trapped in the storm. But she eventually makes her way there for Christmas. And also the Sesame Street Muppets show up. Well, I mean, they're technically Muppets, but they're Sesame Street cast. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Elmo and Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch and Grover and Harry Monster and even the two-headed guy, and even Guy Smiley shows up. I mean, he doesn't do anything. He's just there. Come on, tell me you know who Guy Smiley is, right? Yeah, all these Sesame Street Muppets show up. They're caroling or whatever, and they invite them in because a storm is brewing outside and they have to come in out of the cold. And Fozzie's mom's house is full of Muppets and full of all kinds of crazy, weird creatures and one human. And so all of this is an excuse to pull off a few Muppet gags, there's stuff with the Swedish Chef, and he's trying to cook a turkey. So they invited a live turkey. He's just a turkey Muppet or whatever, and he shows up, and the Swedish Chef is trying to cook him or whatever. Also, the turkey is hitting on Gonzo's wife. Gonzo's wife is a chicken, in case you didn't know. Him and Gonzo are looking like they're going to fight and stuff. And so, spoiler alert, they don't eat the turkey. He gets a pass because the Swedish Chef sees Big Bird and decides, oh, forget that turkey. I'm gonna cook that Big Bird. Like, imagine that, We'll just have a giant feast. But then, it's Christmas time, so he turns around his attitude and he decides he's not going to cook Big Bird. They're just going to have vegetables instead, I guess. Because you can't eat fellow Muppets. I mean, that's Muppet cannibalism, man. Like, the Swedish Chef wants to cook and eat everybody, it seems. I don't know. I think he's secretly a cannibal. Yeah, you get Rolf the dog, and Rolf the dog plays piano and sings some songs, and you get Kermit and Robin, Robin, Kermit's little nephew. They find a Fraggle hole, and they go and they visit the Fraggles for a while, so you get your Fraggle crossover in there. You already got Doc and Sprocket, but now you actually get to see the Fraggles, and there's all those guys, and Moki and Boober and Red and a bunch of random Fraggles. And the Fraggles get a song, and they sing a song with Kermit. And like I said, there's not much of a plot. It's just a bunch of stuff that happens when they all show up at Fozzie's mom's house for Christmas. And they celebrate Christmas. The Sesame Street characters, they put on like a little play or whatever. Some kind of night before Christmas, I think. And the two-headed monster guy plays Santa Claus. And I never really got that guy. It's like, because there's two of them, and he's got two heads, right? Are they supposed to be just kind of like really, really dumb? Or are they supposed to like not speak English very well? And I don't get them. Because they talk really funny. And I don't know, they kind of argue sometimes between each other. But anyway, they play Santa Claus, and somebody takes issue with that. Fozzie the Bear makes a snowman, and the snowman magically comes to life, and Fozzie and the snowman are going to have their great comedy act, because they find that, they play really well off each other. They immediately get shot down by Waldorf and Statler, the balcony old geezers that are always criticizing Fozzie the Bear and the Muppet Show in general and talking about how terrible it is. They're there for whatever reason. I guess they're supposed to be like friends of Fozzie's mom or something. But eventually everything all turns around, and we get more songs. Little like 30, 60 second clips of songs sprinkled all throughout this special. And, interspersed with like little Muppet gags and skits and stuff. But then when Miss Piggy shows up and everybody's there in the house, and they go into this like 7-minute medley of Christmas songs, and all these like traditional songs and like more recent songs, even stuff from like the Muppets John Denver Christmas album, I think. It's all the Muppets all together, all singing songs, and it's kind of goofy, but it's, you get the big wide shot of all the Muppets. Every Muppet in existence at this point, I think, is in this one shot. Yeah, this whole thing is like just a giant who's who of the Muppet universe. You get Kermit and Piggy and Fozzie and Scooter and Gonzo and Animal, and you get the Electric Mayhem. You get Dr. Teeth and the band, and Janice and all them, and also the Cookie Monster. You get Big Bird, you get Bert and Ernie, you get Oscar the Grouch, you get Elmo, you get Fraggles, you get Rizzo the Rat. One guy you don't get is Pepe the Prawn. Now, if I remember correctly, I don't think Pepe the Prawn existed as a Muppet until after this came out. I could spend this whole video just telling you all the Muppets that are in it, but that's just it. There's no real story. It's just, here's the Muppets. It's a Muppet family Christmas. This is what the Muppets did this one Christmas, and they all got together and sang a bunch of Christmas songs, and Swedish Chef tried to eat a bunch of people. There you go. Now, I really like this. I love the Muppets, always have. Even when I wasn't, I never watched the Muppet Babies cartoon on TV, because that was a little childish. But of course, when I was a child, I watched Sesame Street and the Muppet Show. I watched all the Muppet movies as I was growing up, and I guess you could say I grew up with the Muppets. I wouldn't say this is better or worse than any other Muppet Christmas movie, because I think there's like 5 or 6 of them, but it's certainly different. Just one big nostalgia fest for me. Oh, and by the way, you actually get to see Jim Henson in the very end of the show. And Jim Henson looks on as all the Muppets are singing and having a good time, and it's a little nod to like, hey, I'm Jim Henson. I'm the guy that created all this stuff, or maybe not all of it, but you know. So really, like, a Muppet Family Christmas is just like fan service for all the Muppet fans and the Fraggle fans and the Sesame Street fans and the Muppet Baby fans. It's good. It's heartwarming. It's got some funny gags in there if you like the Muppets. Muppets always make me laugh. I don't care what they're doing. I'm going to have to go ahead and give a Muppet Family Christmas a B. That's right. I think it was a quality television special. I think it scratched my Muppets itch for this year. Yeah, I enjoyed this about as much as I enjoyed It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie. That one, you know, there was all those celebrity cameos and like pop culture gags in there and stuff, and a little more contemporary. But this was a little more traditional. It didn't have any like celebrity cameos in it or anything. I don't know, it just made me feel good to watch all the Muppets get together and celebrate Christmas. So here you go. Muppet Family Christmas, B. So until the next Christmas movie / special review, which may or may not contain Muppets, happy holidays to all y'all out there, and have a good one.